The White House said the President Biden had made it clear to President Xi what the consequences would be if China provides material support to Russia. Joining us now is China's ambassador to the United States,秦刚. Mr. Ambassador, good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So President Biden asked Beijing not to provide any kind of support to Russia. Is it your intent to go ahead and give a lifeline to Vladimir Putin?
On Friday, President Xi Jinping and President Biden had a video call. It was candid, deep, and constructive. President Xi Jinping gave China's position very clear. That is, China stands for peace, opposes war. China is a peace-loving country. We hate to see the situation of Ukraine come to today's, like this, and we call for immediate ceasefire, and we are promoting peace talks, and we are sending humanitarian assistance to.
Will you send money and weapons to Russia, though?
Well, there's a disinformation about China providing military assistance to Russia. We reject that.
You won't
and
do so. Beijing will not?
What China is doing is send foods, medicine, sleeping bags, and baby formula, not weapons and ammunition to any party. And we are against the war, as I said. We will do everything to de-escalate the crisis.
Russia's foreign minister said yesterday that Moscow and Beijing will only get closer because of what's happening. Is he right?
Well, China and Russia has a trust relations. It was built over many years. It was built on many issues. We have a long shared borders as long as over 4,000 kilometers. So we have a lot of common interests. And this trust relations with Russia gave us a unique position in the international efforts for peace talks.
And that's exactly what the White House is saying, that you are in such a position of power here to pick up the phone and call Vladimir Putin. Has Xi Jinping, your president, told Vladimir Putin to stop the invasion? Do you condemn it?
Actually, on the second day of Russia's military operation, President Xi Jinping did talk to President Putin.
Was that their last
asking
phone call?
President Putin to think about resuming peace talks with Ukraine. And President Putin listened to it, and we have seen 4 rounds of peace talks have happened. Let me continue. China's trusted relations with Russia is not a liability. Actually, it's an asset in the international efforts to solve the crisis in a peaceful way. And China is part of the solution. It's not part of the problem.
So are you saying, though, just so we're clear, are you saying Beijing will not provide financial support to Moscow to prolong this war?
China has normal trade, economic, financial, energy cooperations with Russia. As I said just now.
So it's not changing. You're not changing your relationship.
These are the normal business between 2 sovereign countries based on international order, laws, including WTO rules. And
let's talk about those international laws, because 4 days ago, the International Court of Justice ordered Russia to stop its military actions. China abstained from that. The vote was 13-2. The only country that stood next to Russia was China.
Well,
that sounds like you are condoning and not condemning.
China makes its observation and conclusion independently, based on the merits of the matter itself. On the one hand,
The United Nations Secretary General said that Russia invaded.
Yeah, we oppose. On the one hand, China opposes the UN purposes and the principles, including the respect for the national sovereignty and the territorial integrity of all countries, including Ukraine.
Okay.
On the other hand, we do see there's a complexity in the history of the Ukraine issue. And
we are in the
opinion.
Russia amassed more than 150,000 troops at China's border?
Well, that's why we want
just to be clear,
to have a
China,
friendly, good neighborly relations with Russia.
But you would recognize it's not good, friendly, neighborly relations to put 150,000 troops on the border of a neighboring country and then to send those troops into that country.
Well,
in those circumstances, why can't you condemn this as an invasion?
Well, don't be naive. Condemnation.
It sounds naive to say that's not an invasion. It
doesn't solve the problem. I would be surprised if Russia will back down by condemnation. What is urgently needed?
Will they back down if your president asks Vladimir Putin to back down? Will your president ask Vladimir Putin to back down?
We have done so.
They rely
and we will
on
continue to promote peace talks and urge immediate fire. And condemnation only doesn't help. We need wisdom. We need wisdom, we need courage, and we need good diplomacy.
Well, Vladimir Zelensky says he would like to meet with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Zelensky's in a bunker. Vladimir Putin is at a political pro-war rally right now. You can't have diplomacy when it is one country, the only one country willing to actually negotiate.
China has good relations with Russia, has good relations with Ukraine, and China keeps close communications with the United States and with Europe. They enable China to reach to all parties' concerns in the crisis. So China's unique role, can help the peaceful settlement of the crisis.
I keep hearing you say that. I want to understand how China is helping. If you are not condemning, if you are not cutting off Vladimir Putin from continuing this war that is roiling the entire global economy, sending food prices and energy prices spiking. China wants stability.
But
why not cut off Vladimir Putin?
We have already made it very clear that, national sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries, including Ukraine, should be respected and protected. But as I said, condemnation only cannot work. What we need is good diplomacy based on vision, wisdom, and the courage. And looking ahead, the enduring approach to the security issue in Europe.
I want to talk to you about one quick thing before we run out of time. You talked about how important the UN is and what respect you have for it. So a UN human rights panel said there are credible reports that 1 million Uyghurs are in a massive internment camp shrouded in secrecy. And the High Commissioner for Refugees and Human Rights will go to China soon. Will you give them unlimited access?
I totally reject that.
Yes, you will give access, or no, you won't give access?
Such a so-called human rights violation in Xinjiang against violation. So, well, we are in talks with the Human Rights Special Commissioner of the, and as far as I understand, there's an agreement.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador. We'll be right back.
Thank you for having me.